Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Hello and welcome to Countryside here on Manx Radio. I'm Simon Clark.
And I'm Kirree. Last week I caught up with the Federation of Young Farmers to see what they've been up to and what events are coming up.
I speak to Chris Gregory from Isle of Play and congratulated them on the recent award that they'd won. And also I went flying in the yellow helicopter around the Isle of Man. Well, Kirree, flying around the Isle of Man in a helicopter, what a dream that has been for mine, and the opportunity to do so. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Absolutely incredible that is, Simon. Yeah. Very jealous.
Plenty to talk about with that, and of course the young farmers. But firstly, Isle of Play. It's a charity, and I spoke to the CEO of Isle of Play, Chris Gregory, at the new venue of Leicester's Yard in Douglas. And firstly, I congratulated Chris and his team, and it had been a fantastic week for you all.
Yeah, thank you very much. We were nominated and won Charity of the Year with the Heroes of Man Awards, which was rather nice.
Yeah, how has that come? Because it's quite a new venture for you, isn't it?
Well, Isle of Play has been going for just over 3 years now, so yeah, to be nominated for any sort of award and recognition, it's really appreciated, especially in such a short period of time when you consider all the other great and sort of larger charities that are on the island.
How big of a shock did it come to you when, obviously being nominated and being in there, you think, well, like you say, there's some nice ones about.
Well, it was. So we were there. We were at the awards, and of course you got Beth SB. Beth well anyway, and she was on stage, and they were reading out the winners, etc. And we noticed early doors. It was the other Chris who I work with, and he'd noticed that they weren't going. The nominees are. They just cut the time down, and the winner is. So we're going. Well, we've been invited, so maybe we've just won. and yeah. So sure enough. We were called up, and it was very flattering, and it was nice to get a big cheer. A few kids there as well who recognised us. So yeah, it was nice.
We're here at Leicester's Yard, which is quite a new venture. I mean, when you first come in, you think, what's happening in here? But it seems popular with the kids.
Well, it's a condensed space of just chaos, I would say. I think the way that children's play typically operates is if it's not directed by adults, which this place isn't, it's often chaotic, and that's kind of where the magic lies. When the kids start exploring themselves and others and the environment about them, and they come here and we give them hammers and nails and saws, and then the chaos begins, and they have big open fires, and they explore and they play and they chase and they build. And it's just a marvellous place to behold once it's populated with children.
When you think of it, things were moving forward from the early computers to what they can play with now and the high-tech games that they can play. This, don't take it the wrong way, but it's like a step back to when I was a kid. I seen an old bogey, we called them, with pram wheels on it and a couple of bits of rope on the steering and a few old bikes around here.
Sure, and children, they all have access to mobile phones, and all the kids come, with posher mobile phones than me. But the interesting thing is that those phones very rarely come out. Children, millions of years of evolution have given us the ability to play, and there's a reason why we play as children. And so you can give them all the tech they want, but if you give the children the freedom to be able to play with other children, then they embrace it and they grab it, and technology goes out the window for the time that they're here.
So they've got bits of wood and pallets here, huge bit of equipment. They use their own minds, get together with 2 or 3 others and make something?
Sure, it depends, sometimes it's easy to think that this place is a place where they come to build, and there are, as you can see, if you were here now, you can see that, there are buildings around the place that the kids have obviously built and constructed themselves, but also it's a place where kids come to destroy, and that's why when you look around you'll find bits of pallet and bits of old wood knocking around the place as much as you will find nice constructed things as well. So, it's a place where frustrations are let loose. It's a place where imaginations are engaged, and it's a place where children are allowed to be just that, to be children.
What sort of ages are coming, and the people from around, just locals from around the estates here and the town?
Well, we get them, typically, because we're open after school. The kids from Annika, Pulrose. It's an interesting location because you've got the large council estates as well, but then you've got your Saddlestone and you've got Valagil up the road and Ballacottia schools as well. And so we get an interesting mix and diverse mix of primary school age children, but then we've also got children coming from St Ninians and from Ballacameen. So we've got high school children mixing with some of the infants aged children as well. And it's great because sometimes, a 15-16-year-old wants to play like a 5-year-old. And 5-year-olds sometimes want to hang around with a 15-16-year-old, and so it's beautiful to see sometimes.
Yeah, they do. If they're stuck with something, some of the older ones get in helping, and I suppose it satisfies them all.
Yeah, it's just we so often sort of segregate children into their age categories, and that's not the purpose of any of the work that we do. We're open to all children, and you don't stop being a children, arguably, until you're maybe 60, 70, 80, I don't know how old it is, but anybody who's under, 18 years of age is welcome to come here and stuff. And my colleague, the other Chris, he says it's a place for anyone, but it's not for everyone. And I think that really sums it up. This isn't a place where, you can... parents come down with little Tarquin and go, oh, come on, let's go and play nicely. This is a place for Tarquin to come and play however Tarquin wants to play, and so we actually encourage parents not to stay around. This is a place for children and not for their more adult and led agendas.
Yeah. You look around here, though. I mean, what's that? Is that a church that's built behind us here?
Yeah, that is a church. Complete with pews and cross and lectern inside. A boy came down and he converted what was a derelict den at that point, and he started converting it, and he made this wonderful sort of church within the middle of this environment, and it's recognised, which is really interesting. It's recognised by all the children here as a church. So sometimes they'll be running around playing various games of tag and stuff. They go, come on, let's go hide in the church. And yet all these kids take sanctuary in the church. There's definitely a metaphor in there, I'm sure.
But you get a lot of the video games possibly that they are playing at home. A lot of these games have little places, cafeterias, churches in them. So I suppose it relates to it, but it's in real life.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's the other way around, really, isn't it? We, the technology and the worlds that are created in video games are meant to be, replicas of the real world. But this place is very much the real world, and it's this place. If used a computer game term, it's a sandbox for creativity. This place.
Yeah, and you look the other side. You've got and it looks like a sort of simple version of a restaurant cafeteria there, Chris.
Simple being the operative word there. Thanks, Simon. We spent hours building that, days you might say. Yeah, we've got a couple of solid fuel ovens up there. We've got a pizza oven, and we've got ourselves just a kind of fire pit barbecue kind of area as well. And so every night after school, most nights anyway, we'll get some ingredients out, and the kids will chop it all up and cook it and make stews or sausages or whatever it is that we've got.
I wonder how do they sort of? I suppose a lot of them will be used to having their tea made for them. How do they take on having to do a little bit for themselves?
They relish it, to be honest. Like the idea of you give children responsibility. I think it's something that we often underplay is the role of responsibility in all our lives, and children. You may not think that they're responsible enough to manage sharp knives and open fires, but actually I think that this place proves that to be not to be the case at all. And so they cook fresh veg and eat food that they perhaps wouldn't normally go anywhere near, but because they've prepared the food and cooked it all themselves, they get it down their gullet as fast as they can.
Brilliant stuff. Well, many congratulations on this, but of course it's not all Isle of Play does.
No, well, we've got a couple of other projects. Term time, we've got forest school, so we've got a wonderful woodland where children come down with school groups, and they spend 8 weeks, one afternoon or morning a week with us for 8 weeks in the woods, and they play wild in the woods, which is great. We've got Playing Out, which is our mobile play scheme over the holidays, which is well attended. Sees about 7,000, 8,000 kids every every 12 weeks or
Really?
so. Yeah. Well, we're working with about 1,000 kids a week typically, but that's all the sort of the front line stuff as well. But more than that, we're constantly trying to improve the Isle of Man for children just to be children and to play. 40, 50 years ago, an 8-year-old child could have roamed 8 miles in any direction with other 8-year-old children, but without an adult in tow. And today, 8-year-old children seem to really struggle to be allowed to go past the threshold of their own homes, unfortunately. And on an island, that we celebrate as being incredibly safe, it's a real shame that children are losing a large part of their childhood by being denied the opportunity to roam, to go on adventures, and to play. So, Isle of Play's role really is to promote childhood again, let children reclaim their childhood, if you like, and enjoy the best possible time that they can.
Is it keeping you young or giving you grey hair?
Take a look for yourself, sir. This isn't an advert for Just for Men right now, is it? So no, I'm very privileged to be in the position that I am and to be able to work with the people that I work with and to work with all the kids that we do. Honestly, it's a joy to come out, and even though we're outside in all weathers, I can't think of the last time that I didn't look forward to coming to work.
That's a lovely touch. And if anyone wants more details of Isle of Play,
yeah, you can find us isleofplay.im, or you can find us on social media as well. And just get in touch.
Chris Gregory, the CEO of Isle of Play there, telling us all about Leicester's Yard and the awards that they won at the awards night. So really done well for themselves. And like the Isle of Play and everything that they do, they go around to the different schools and get kids to play like they used to. And it was fantastic there when we were talking. You heard us talking about the old bogey there with not the one that come out of your nose, but the bogey made of wood with the pram wheels and things
but
on
they're
it.
things that we always did as kids, but now, like you say, Simon, that's the old-fashioned fun coming back to the fore with the likes of Isle of Play bringing that opportunity to them. But even hammers and nails, who would ever expect to see them at the show hammering away, building things, creating things, climbing up on top of old pallets? I guess you forget not everybody has that chance.
No, it's brilliant. It was. So well done, Chris and the team there at Isle of Play. Well, we haven't heard from the young farmers for a while, Kirree.
No, not at all, but they've always been busy bees. They had the field day there back in August, and talking of hammers and nails, they had to build their constructions and all the different tasks. They set them for various competitions, weird and wonderful ones. And I caught up with the Federation of Young Farmers in the studios to see what they've been up to. So here we are now with the Federation of Young Farmers and some new faces. Brian and Neil, all around you this time.
Yeah, they haven't got rid of me yet, but we've got Will Duggan of the Southern Club, our new Federation chairman. We've got Vicky Hargreaves of Eastern as our new treasurer, and Nikki Kane of Central as our vice chair lady this year.
So it's all change.
Yeah, all change. The only thing that stayed the same is our fabulous Assistant Secretary Sophie. She stayed on, and then we've said goodbye to our treasurer Hannah, and obviously Vicky's taken her role, and we've got assistant treasurers Beth Harvey and Jenny Kane.
And they're all such important roles, aren't they? Because the Federation of Young Farmers is the hub of all of the northern, eastern, southern and central young farmers. It all comes into there, and some great work goes on every year.
Yeah, definitely. We've got so much on, and it's good for everyone to get together, under the umbrella of the Federation, everyone from each club, to get all the different ideas and plan all the events and everything like that, to get it out to our members and just,
You've had a really busy summer as it is. We've seen that the field day was a huge success back in August.
Yeah, that was really good. It was quite tricky, really, wasn't it? After unfortunately having to cancel the concert this year and not having that, it seemed quite sort of an empty calendar until we came out of lockdown and we had to ram everything in with everything else that's going on the island anyway. It's very busy, and trying to fit things into the calendar was quite hard, but we got there. So it was a bit chocker, but we're looking forward to a new, hopefully more normal year this year.
Absolutely. And at the weekend, Brian, you popped along to a really special service.
On Sunday, myself, Will and Vicky's new husband John went to Patrick Parish Church for John Brugazzi's memorial service and bench unveiling, which we were very fortunate to be able to donate the money towards to buy the bench, which will sit at Patrick Parish Church there. So it was lovely, and I'm sure Will be able to tell you a lot more about John than myself, but You know, he was a man that did a lot for the Young Farmers Federation. You know, for very, very many years, he was a life member of ours. So, we were very grateful to be asked to be involved in that.
Absolutely. And like you say, Will, he was very active in agriculture, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think the island's agriculture, you know, it's in a place where it is thanks to John, really, and the work he put in years ago, and you know. And
so many people speak so highly of him, a true gentleman.
Yes, oh yeah, definitely. Sadly missed in the community, really.
But yeah, what a great part to be involved in there. And forthcoming events, my goodness me, it's nice to have a calendar back, like you say, Bryony. The Christmas tractor run.
Yeah, the Christmas tractor that run this year, they'll be in Strand Street on Thursday the 9th, and then Friday the 10th is the southern route, which I believe is a bit longer this year, and then Saturday we've got the main route again, so everyone's looking forward to that. There's a lot of buzz about it, but lots for the remainder of this week to get done first before that.
Go on, tell us what you're up to.
Well, we've got the remainder of the Prime Stock show at Alaman Meets on Thursday for the carcass judging, so that's always a good turnout from the Young Farmers members. And then Friday, we've got our very first Winter Welly Wonderland, which is at the Villa Marina Royal Hall, which is basically just a massive big bash to celebrate our 75th anniversary. You know, we're hoping to do a more formal dinner, you know, with a bit of a difference next year, but we had this date at the Villa Marina booked for, gosh, it must be almost 2 years now. Wow. So we thought it was a good idea to do that. And we've got Chris Stark from BBC Radio 1 coming over for it. We've got a couple of local DJs who also happen to be Young Farmers members, Michael Caller and Michael Deal. We've got Aerial Illusions and Harvey Mushman, a local band. So it should be really, really good. Yeah, and we've got about 140 Young Farmers coming over from across for it so far. So yeah, it'll be good.
Isn't that really good to have visitors come again to the island? And are they fellow Young Farmers too?
Yeah, they're all Young Farmers members. We put it out to all the clubs, so whoever wanted to come could come. They booked through Isle of Man events who've been really helpful. And yeah, it'll just be nice to see them because we did a club exchange with a couple of the clubs that are coming over. So just to catch up with them again and then meet some new people will be great.
And is there any tickets left? Can anyone last minute get involved? Nikki, you're in charge of that side of things?
Yeah, there's still lots of tickets. If anyone's looking for something to do on Friday night, come along.
It should be a really good night. And what is the dress code? I hear wellies.
Yes. So no sore feet at the end of the night.
Tactics here. Ball gowns, or is it just as you are?
Dress to impress.
Yeah, we've said black tie and wellies, but I think whatever goes, really.
Yeah. It's just nice to have an event on again, isn't it?
Yeah, nice to get together.
Yeah, definitely.
And always looking out into the general public, I seen on Facebook you had a hop tune pumpkin carving competition or a turnip moot carving competition. Now I think getting the younger people involved with agriculture or anything to do with the countryside is really important. What do you think, Vicky?
Yes, it's good to get them involved at a younger age, and then they'll hopefully take on a committee role later on.
Well, this like yourself getting pulled into it now.
Yes, I just retired as club secretary and thought I'll give Fed treasurer a go.
Well, that's it. And talking about the federation, you've just had the awards as well. We had Miss Young Farmer again this year?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, that was won by Central member Emily Kelly.
She also a very active member, isn't she, Emily?
Yeah, she also won the award for Best Overall Young Farmer and the Best Stock Judger too.
Yeah, they're huge parts of it. I guess livestock judging and all that kind of thing, the actual agricultural events don't seem to be at the forefront anymore, with a lacking of young farmers, Will.
Yeah, that's it. It's a sort of organisation that anyone is welcome. You know, you don't have to be a farmer, but you know, it's a good base for what we're all about, sort of thing. That's
it. You do an awful lot for charity.
Yes, yeah, we try to do our bit for what we can. You know, the tractor run is obviously a big, real big charity event for us for the year. So and same with the concert as well. So. And
I suppose looking at the concert, it's only around the corner, really.
Yeah, I'm sure practices will all start again in January, and we'll be marching forward again.
Yeah, I suppose having it missed last year, Brian, it would have been a bit of a blow for the federation.
Yeah, it was. It was such a shame. We tried to postpone it, and we were sort of looking forward to the postponed date, and then unfortunately, due to the circumstances during COVID, we just couldn't do it, and obviously in the farming calendar, lots of our members are still farmers, especially the ones that take part in the concert. So it just wasn't justifiable to, try and squeeze it in amongst all the work that they were doing anyway. So yeah, we're really, really looking forward to the concert this year. It's a little bit later on the 24th, 25th and 26th of March, but all good fun. So.
Yeah. And talking about calendars, I do believe you've got a merchandise and calendar for sale this year.
Yes, yeah, we've got the very first Young Farmers calendar, which is all pictures that our members have taken themselves and we've chosen them and put them in. So there's plenty of those. If anyone wants one, just get in touch with us on the Facebook page or via our email address. And we've got T-shirts and water bottles and things as well. So
it's every little helps, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then at the end of the day, if we've got money in the pot, we've got it there to spread out to charities who are in need, we're very fortunate to be able to be in that position.
And how do people get involved with Young Farmers? Obviously, there's an age bracket, but everybody's welcome.
Absolutely, everybody's welcome. It's 10 to 36 on the Isle of Man, but we often have people coming along to Stockton who may bring their, younger brother or sister, and it's good to just let them have a go. We do an open class, even like on Monday night at the Prime Stock Show, we have an open class so past members can have a go at the stock judging as well. And I think it's just nice to involve everyone and then give the younger ones a bit of a taste of what we're about. So hopefully they'll join up in the future.
That was some of the members from the Isle of Man Young Farmers, and they're always really busy, especially with their charity work, Simon.
Yeah, and another tractor run in the process of organising. Of course, that's gone from strength to strength, isn't it? And
it really
it's just
has.
Something even the general public now going, oh, don't go out on that night, the tractors will be out.
It just really is, and they're thinking outside of the box all the time, having their hop tune pumpkin carving for the younger ones, trying to get everybody involved, and obviously the big Winter Welly Wonderland at the end of the month. Don't forget, if you haven't got tickets, you can go to that. That's at the Villa Marina. Have a look on the Gaiety website. That's the Winter Welly Wonderland.
You're listening to Countryside here on Manx Radio with Kirree Kermode and myself, Simon Clark. Well, I've always been a fan of aviation, and for my birthday last weekend, I was treated to a trip around the Isle of Man in a Robinson R44 helicopter. The front seat next to Tom the pilot, and what an experience that was. I caught up with Tom and had a chat with him after we landed, and some adventure. Well, what a remarkable experience. Let's get a chat with our pilot for today, Tom Bean. Thank you for that experience. That was something that it's a once in a lifetime for me.
Yeah, no, it was great. We had a good time, I think. Lovely weather for it, wasn't it, Simon?
Yeah.
It was a cracking day. Thank you.
Now, how long have the yellow helicopters been at it here on the Isle of Man now?
So we started in April, and I came over from the UK in April as well. So we've been up and running for the last 6-7 months now.
Yeah, and how has it been? Has it been slowly getting there? Obviously, it's been a lot of trouble worldwide with certain infections and things, but has that hindered progress?
Not so much. I think we're really surprised with the general uptake from island residents. It's been great, and we've had a lot of positive reviews, a lot of positivity that's come from it. I think next year will be interesting, with the borders hopefully fully opened, with a few more tourists coming in, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Now, the routes you take here, obviously yellow helicopters are part of a bigger group as well, just in case people need a bit of background on it.
Yeah, so at the moment we offer routes varying from 60 minutes to 15 minutes. The prices varying as well. So our 15 minutes above the south, taking around the southwest of the island. We've got two 30-minute routes from the east and west, from Douglas down along the coast, or you can go to Peel and back along the coast. The hour-long tour that you did, Simon, is the Island Adventure. So we circumnavigate the whole island. And then we do a 45-minute one as well, which is called our TT experience. So we'll go around the whole lap.
Yeah, well, like I say, we went on the Island Adventure one round there, and it's just incredible because we live on the west coast at the north there, and you said, just point out your house there. We did a circle around that to get some pictures, and it's just incredible because you never get the chance to do that with anything else, would you?
No. I mean, I always try and find everybody's houses. I've got 100% success rate so far, so hopefully the next flight will be the same as well.
Yeah. So how did you get into it yourself, Tom?
I've always wanted to fly. I originally wanted to join the Air Force when I was younger, and then due to varying circumstances, it didn't quite work out. But I've always had a passion for aviation. I was very fortunate to fall into it about 7 years ago, and I first moved to the States and started flying out there, and haven't gone back since.
Yeah, obviously the fixed wing licenses that you get, you moved on to the helicopters. Was that always going to be a move for you, or something you said one day, I want to do that now?
Well, I mean, helicopters, I can't really stress how much fun they are. So fixed wing's great. I mean, I've got a lot of passion for planes as well, but helicopters is just something else. It's quite an incredible feeling when you fly one.
What about the first time you get in there and he says, right, you're in control of it now? Is it a difficult thing to master?
It takes a while, yeah. The first time you try hovering, you just want to break down and cry and run away.
Really?
It takes a few hours to get that, but then it just clicks. Yeah, it just happens. It's just like everything in life. You just try hard, and then it eventually works out.
Yeah. You haven't got fed up of going around the island yet? Is there always something you're learning or something you're seeing different?
Always, yeah. No, I'm not fed up at all. It's a beautiful place to fly around. So I really appreciate the Isle of Man so much, and especially flying with Simon, your son today, Timmy. He even pointed out a few things I didn't know about either as well, so which is great.
Yeah, the poor air traffic control couldn't get a word in at one stage there. but it is, the helicopter you fly, the R44. When I was sitting in the front there, there's such a view from it. It's incredible. You used to people looking out of plane windows. You get the little window to look out. This is a view.
Yeah, it's just a big bubble, pretty much. So it's one of the best helicopters in the world for the view. It's very popular amongst touring companies, and yeah, you just see everything. It's great.
Yeah, and was that the one you always flew when you learnt?
I've got a few other types, so Robinson, the R44, the R22, smaller helicopters as well, like the Kirree and the Schweitzer. Mainly, I did a lot of my initial training and some flight instruction in that. But when it comes to the touring, it's mainly in the 44. Yeah.
Yeah, and now I think you're pushing yourself a little bit more, going into instructing as well. Is that too?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So when I lived in the States, I was over there for a few years. I used to teach out there, but in aviation, you need licenses for every country that you fly in. So I used to teach out there for a couple of years, and I just recently got my British or UKCAA flight instructor certificate as well. So it's something we'll hopefully launch in the next few weeks, probably for the new year.
What about the difference flying in the States to the Isle of Man? Less wind?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. And I was in California as well, so we had about 350 days of sun, so you didn't have to worry too much about the weather. It's completely different, to be honest. Very relaxed in the US, a bit more strict over here. You can do it's more regimented, should we say, in the UK and the Isle of Man.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic experience. If anyone wants to do this, I mean, who do they get in contact with and how?
Yeah, so we got Facebook and Instagram. Our handles are at Fly Yellow Helicopters, and email address is fly@yellowhelicopters.com, or you can call us on 01624 812 144.
Brilliant. Well, what an experience today. Handle that aircraft brilliantly. I'm allowed to call it an aircraft?
Of course you can. Just don't call it a plane.
Tom Bean there, the pilot of the Yellow Helicopters, who flew me round the Isle of Man on Sunday afternoon. And what a crystal clear day it was, Kirree. Flew past your house, I was shouting down to you.
It was just the perfect day, like you say, so blue. But what an opportunity there, Simon. Like a chance of a lifetime, like you did. And a big happy birthday, too. I do believe it was a birthday present.
It was indeed. Thank you very much. And the wife. But I had Timmy with me. He was in the back, so we weren't short of commentary with him and myself.
But what an opportunity to see how beautiful this island is. We always talk of how wonderful it is. And I bet from the air, seeing all those quirks, the hills and the rolling landscape we have here, and in all its glory in that sunshine on the weekend, must have been just beautiful.
It was beautiful, and let me tell you this, that some people might look and think, oh, it's quite expensive and everything. You go out for a meal or something now, you're nearly there, and that is, you go in an aeroplane, you look out the little window on the side, and you can barely see down, and you're going quite fast. It's like being in a big bubble.
Wow.
You know, it was brilliant, the view. So I would recommend that to anybody. That's all for this week's Countryside. Kirree, any events coming up?
Well, we had the first part of the Prime Stock show there last night, and the second part is at Isle of Man Meets on Thursday. That all kicks off at 6 o'clock with the young farmers, and then 7 for the general public to come and view. And then we'll hear all about the winners and the results of that in next week's programme.
Indeed. That's it for this week, though. Until next week, from me, Simon Clark.
And me, Kirree Kermode.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.